Hello, everyone out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and we're going to continue to talk about The Housemaid now. The Housemaid from last year, 2025, and how good it is, how it's going to cure cancer and change your life, make everything wonderful again. No, it's not. Far from it, actually. It's a turd. It's a piece of crap. I went to the theater and I watched this. I spent my own money and actually watched this movie in a theater, and I can't take it back, so I decided I would review it, since that's what I do on this channel, is I review chick flicks, right? That's what I do. That's what you come for, right? But the difference is I give you a straight man's point of view. So I'm going to tell you what your boyfriend is going to tell you, what your guy friends, your straight guy friends are going to tell you, your dad, all that. Well, they're not going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, okay? Because I got nothing to gain by lying to you. All right, I'm going to tell you the honest God truth, whether you like it or not. Straight up, baby, with no lube. There ain't no loop here. All right? So if you cannot handle it, then get the hell out of here right now, okay? I will not censor myself to spare your feelings. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about telling you the truth so that you can look at something objectively instead of clouding everything with your emotions through the filter of your emotional anxieties, okay? Your own issues and stuff, okay? Just look at this from a logical point of view for a change. Okay, does this make sense? Would someone act this way? Would somebody do that? And if somebody did something, what prevented them from doing this other thing? You see what I mean? Okay, this movie is all about provoking your emotions and not your logic. Okay, they want you to feel things, but they don't want you to think about it. Just go with what they're telling you to feel. You see what I mean? There was this video I saw. I think it might have been this morning or it might have been yesterday. I don't remember for sure. But it's by this YouTube channel called Film Threat, okay? And I'll probably share the video. But one of the hosts of Film Threat, his name is Chris Gore, and he's been writing about movies for decades now. He's been around for a long time. He was one of the founders of, like, what the hell was it? Some video game show. I forgot what it was called. But damn, because I don't play video games. But anyway, yeah. So he's been around. He's always commenting on movies. He watches movies before anyone else, and he does reviews on them once the embargo lifts and stuff. And they were reviewing The Bride, and they were talking about The Bride, and they were talking about it's written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. You know her. She's that ugly cabbage patch girl that was in a lot of movies like 10 years ago. She was like in The Dark Knight and stuff, and all sorts of little things. I saw her when a movie with Will Ferrell once, okay? But she was in a lot of things like 20 years ago or stuff, okay? Her brother is Jake Gyllenhaal. You know who that is. He's still acting, but she's not acting anymore because she aged out. I mean, she got too old, and she was never really pretty to begin with, honestly. She never was really the best looking girl in Hollywood. But anyway, because she's of course, she's a devout feminist, of course, hates men, all that kind of stuff. She's married to a simp. Her husband's name is Peter Sarsgaard. He's in the movie too. Okay. Anyway, this is the second movie she wrote and directed. But this movie, unlike her last movie, which had like a $5 million budget, this movie has a $90 million budget. Okay. So this is the most amount of money she's ever had to make a movie that she wrote and directs herself, right? So anyway, she made the movie The Bride. I saw it. I thought it was okay. It was entertaining. You gotta check your brain at the door, just like with this movie, just like with The Housemaid. Check your brain at the door. My date liked the movie a lot, but I've been watching the reviews on it, and not only did it mega flop, pretty much everybody hated it. Pretty much every reviewist hated that movie. Okay, I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was very great. It was very good. It provoked. I wasn't bored. But the movie was not good, but it kept me entertained, but it was not good. All right, that's the best I can say for The Bride. Anyway, Chris Gore was talking about it, and they were wondering, like, why is it that, like, when a guy directs a movie, if it's a good movie, women like it too, but when a woman directs a movie, it's only important if the women like it. You see what I mean? Like, that makes no sense. Okay? Like some of the best, guy genre directors, like James Cameron, for example, He made the Terminator movies. He made the first two, at least. He made Aliens 2. He made Titanic, all that stuff. Avatar movies. But like, he was, even in his guy movies like Terminator and Terminator 2, he was trying to reach the female audience. He wanted them to watch the movie too. He found stuff in the script. He wanted to make sure that they enjoyed the movie as well, not just the guys, not just the 12, 13-year-old boys. He made that movie for everybody. He knew the majority of the fan base, the target audience, was the 14-year-old kid, the 13-year-old boy, okay, obviously. But he also put stuff in there for the adult woman, for the teenage woman, okay? He wanted old people to watch the movie. He wanted middle-aged people to watch the movie, okay? Not just the 13-year-old boy. You see what I mean? Okay, he cared about that kind of stuff, all right? Whereas this movie, The Housemaid and The Bride, they were focused on a niche audience. Basically, the white liberal woman, fighting the patriarchy, the evil misogyny of the world. Okay? That's what this movie was. That's what The Bride was, and that's what this is. That's what The Housemaid is. Okay? The problem is a movie like that's not going to appeal to a wide audience. It's going to appeal to angry lesbians, maybe a few gay guys, and that's it. Straight men like me, we're going to avoid this movie. Okay? Like I said, the only reason I watched it is because my date wanted to watch it. And I already told her I'm picking the next movie. That's it. I don't care. I'm picking. Not only am I picking the next movie, you're going to pay for it. That's what I told her. Okay? Not only am I picking the next movie, you're going to pay for it. All right? So, yeah, because I sat through The Bride. But I also sat through this movie, The Housemaid. Okay? Same woman I was with. All right? And she didn't like Housemaid, but she liked The Bride. Go figure. Anyway, and I think the reason, what Chris Gore was saying, is he thinks that when a guy directs a movie, okay, when he's directing the actors, he's trying to evoke a performance that meets the needs of the script, the needs of the story. Okay, it's all about, pleasing everyone. You see what I mean? Like, he wants to film actors acting believably, trying to really get you to get lost in the story so that you believe what the characters are experiencing in the story. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. Okay? When women direct movies, like this movie, well, this movie was directed by a gay guy, Paul Fagg. That's his name. Look it up. And he hates men. Even though he's a man himself, he hates men. Okay, he's done plenty of interviews on this. He got bullied as a boy for being too girly, wearing pink socks and stuff like that. He got bullied a lot, and he took that with him into his filmmaking. Okay, he absolutely hates masculinity. He hates all that kind of stuff. Okay, guy's never picked up a football in his life. Okay, never watched an MMA fight in his life. Okay, that's the guy that made The Housemaid. Okay, Paul Fagg. But as far as like The Bride goes, what Chris Gore was saying was like when women direct a movie, especially when it has an agenda, they're really, really trying to evoke that anger that they have towards men, that cynicism that they have towards their life. All that gets filtered into the directing of the movie, and that's what they're trying to evoke out of the performance. Anger. I hate men. And they even do this like with the male performances. The men, okay, the directors are trying to get the men to really come across as weak, as stupid, or ignorant, or as evil, or as a combination. They have to fit into one of those categories, or two, or all three. And that's what the female director is trying to evoke, because she has something to say. She has an axe to grind. She has a chip on her shoulder, and she wants you to feel what she's feeling. See what I mean? And all of that bleeds through the filmmaking, bleeds through her style of directing. The anger that she has towards the patriarchy, towards men in general. Now you got to think, Maggie Gyllenhaal is a Nepo baby, like her brother, okay? Her parents are directors and producers, okay? They grew up in the industry. So I can clearly understand why a woman growing up in Hollywood would have a lot of hatred towards men, okay? I can totally understand that, okay? But that's because they didn't grow up in the rest of the world, where the stuff that men do in Hollywood, the people that work in Hollywood, the gatekeepers, the power players, the executives in Hollywood, okay, those do not represent the typical man. You see what I mean? But you can't tell that to a woman who grew up in Hollywood, or a guy who was bullied by boys his whole life for being too sissy. Okay? They've already developed their attitudes, their bigotry. Okay? They've already got it inside, and they use their filmmaking as a way to express that to everyone else, hoping that how they see the world is also how you see it. So that you'll watch their movie and watch their future movies, because you feel the same way they do. That's what they're hoping for. That's what they want. That's what Maggie Gyllenhaal wanted when she made The Bride. She wanted all the women in the world, not just in America, to watch this movie, to feel the same anger towards men that she feels, and give her $1.5 billion in the box office so that she can continue to make more of these movies. You see what I mean? That's what she wanted. She wanted the women to watch this movie, get provoked, and rise up against the patriarchy and take down the evil president of the United States that we have. Because she said that in an interview. She made The Bride because Trump won in 2016. To take down the evil patriarchal establishment. You see what I mean? That's what she was trying to say. And all of that, you can tell that resentment that she has towards men, towards the men in power. It bleeds through every scene that she films. Same thing with this movie. Same thing with The Housemaid. All that anger that Paul Feig has towards all the men, all those jocks, those strong, tall, good-looking beefcake athletes that used to pick on him and take his lunch money, and give him a wedgie in the locker room. They used to make fun of him in class. Okay, he carries all of that, okay, into this movie. It's in every scene he directs. Women good, men bad. Even when women are bad, they're still good. See what I mean? Whereas men are always bad. They're either bad or they're ineffective. They're impotent, basically. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. They're stupid like the cops are in this movie. Like Andrew is plenty of times. He's just an idiot. He doesn't ask basic questions. He doesn't want to know information that he should know, especially if he's this evil psychopath who's used to manipulating women. He should have a reasonable amount of intelligence. Okay? He doesn't. The important things he doesn't pay attention to. You see what I mean? The basic things he doesn't care about. Okay? Like, for example, Millie, Sydney Sweeney's character, he finds out that she was in prison. And here she is, in charge of his house, in charge of his bank accounts. In charge of his family. Okay? And he doesn't even know what she went to prison for, nor does he care, nor does he bother to ask. He never tries to find out, and no one ever tells him. Now, if I was a psychopath and I want to manipulate a woman, and I find out that she's an ex-con, I would want to know what the hell. Ooh, is she like me? Is she a manipulator like me? What does she do to go to prison for 10 years? You see what I mean? You would do that. Anybody would do that. He didn't even think about it. See, this is what I'm talking about. This movie wants you to be stupid. This movie wants you to be stupid. And it's just, it takes me out of the story. It breaks the spell. Okay, this guy clearly these movies were made or developed when Biden was president. And during that time, a lot of this was going on. They thought Biden winning 2020 election meant that America has spoken and they want woke. That's what they want. Look who they voted for. Okay? And so that gave them license to make all the crap that they wanted to make. Okay? And that's what they said. So green light and all this woke stuff, white people bad, men bad, women good, gays better than straights, black is better than white, all that kind of stuff. They started doing that like crazy. Okay? And then we had the strikes. Okay, Hollywood went on strike in 2022. So that slowed down a lot of stuff. Next thing you know, it's 2024, and Trump is running for president again. Biden makes a fool of himself during the debates with Trump, And so they have to replace him with Kamala Harris, the VP, who was never nominated by the Democratic Party. They had no, they did not hold a DNC meeting to elect Kamala Harris as the next president, the runner-up, the candidate. They just appointed her. All that money that was donated to Biden automatically went to Kamala Harris. She just kept the money and used $1 billion to campaign for her campaign. You see what I mean? And everybody saw that. Everybody saw that. And I think that's one of the reasons Trump won. But now Trump's in power. All these movies that were greenlit, all these TV shows that were greenlit when Biden was in charge, all that stuff is still coming out. There is nothing that's going to come out for the next year. Okay? Probably not until the end of 2027 are we going to start seeing things, TV shows and movies that began production once Trump was elected. Okay? Some stuff that's not so woke. It's going to be at least till 2027 before we start seeing that. In the meantime, we're going to continue to get all the stuff that was put in, like they started making in 2021, 2022. Okay? We're getting all that stuff now. Okay, this movie is one of those movies, okay? Everything that's coming out of Hollywood is like that. The Green Lantern TV show that's coming out to HBO Max. What an abortion that is. And I'm a comic book nerd. And that trailer looked like crap. Like absolute crap. Because all the woke stuff, we still got to shit it all out before we get new stuff. You see what I mean? So here we are. That's why Hollywood's failing. That's why nobody's watching TV shows. All the stuff that got greenlit when Biden was president is still coming out. That's all they have. They have nothing else. Nobody made anything else except woke garbage. Like this, like The Housemaid. Like The Bride. Woke, woke, woke. Unlike The Bride, though, Housemaid did make money. It made money. So good for that. It means we're going to get a lot more Sydney Sweeney and a lot more sequels. There's going to be a Housemaid cinematic universe coming real soon. You'll see. All right. Now, where did I leave off last time? Okay, so we're talking about this movie, and we left off with Millie. We got her backstory. She's locked up in the attic room, a room where she was living, but now that she's screwing the owner of the house, she thought she wouldn't have to stay in that room anymore because it is a room with one window that does not open. It has one door to go in and out of, which is made of heavy oak. It cannot be broken down, and it locks from the outside. Also, the room is soundproof. All right. So now Millie has been locked in there by the owner of the house, Andrew Winchester. Okay, because she had an affair with him, and he kicked his wife out, his psycho wife Nina. And she left and took her daughter with, because that wasn't his biological daughter. Okay, and took her 8-year-old daughter with her, Cece, and they left. And they're all happy and excited because Andrew was abusive. Okay, it was abusive to her, to Nina, not to Cece, but to Nina. And would torture her, lock her up in that room, put her in the nut house whenever she talked back or acted out. So Nina's plan, instead of just leaving her husband, her plan was to find a replacement. Hence Millie, the housemaid. She hired the housemaid knowing that Millie was an ex-con that just got out of prison. Okay, for murdering a rapist while he was in the middle of the act. And she hired her to be the housemaid, hoping, treated her like complete crap the entire time that Millie was working there, hoping that she could seduce her husband so that her husband would leave her for Millie, which is what happened. So now Nina and her daughter left and they ran away. But now she's all excited and happy, getting drunk, smoking cigarettes, setting pictures of her husband on fire, things like that. She grabs her daughter from school. She tells her daughter, hey, listen, we're running away together, just you and me. I'm leaving daddy, And her daughter tells her, oh, but mommy, I think we need to take Millie with us. And at that moment, Nina realizes that she's a total absolute cunt and that she's a horrible person. She tortured this girl, Millie, hired her under false pretenses just so that she could end up with her husband, because she knew that her husband was a psychopath who liked to torture women. She knew that. And she manipulated this woman to being her husband's next victim so that she could be free. And now that her daughter brought up, hey, listen, maybe you need we need to get Millie out of there too. Now all of a sudden, Nina grows a conscience and realizes that, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have left that woman there with that psychopath. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. See what I mean? And Nina's the good guy. So that's going on here. She tells her daughter, no, Millie can take care of herself, but we know she's going to do something about it. All right. The next scene here, Millie wakes up. She's all bloody. Okay. She's carved herself. Andrew forced her or compelled her to take a broken piece of china dish and to cut into her stomach 21 times because she broke a china. It's a family heirloom. She broke some china earlier and she broke a plate into 21 pieces. So he wants her to cut herself for every piece that she broke. After she does that, then he will consider freeing her from that attic room that she's locked in. Okay? So she does it. Okay? She cuts herself 21 times, slides the jagged piece under the door so he can see it. That's how he knows that she's done. And then now she's passed out bloody, with all these cuts on her stomach. She's passed out on the bed. It's just a mattress, really. No pillow, no sheets, no nothing. There's no bathroom in that room. There was just a few bottles of water, and that was it. She had to pee in a bucket in the closet. So Millie wakes up all bloody. Andrew enters the room. Now, by this time, she's probably been in there for a few days. No food, nothing, right? He enters the room. Unlike he did when he locked up his wife in there, Nina, when he locked up Nina, when he entered the room then, after Nina had been in there for a few days, he brought a bottle of water for her to drink, and she gulped it and then ran away. Well, that bottle was drugged, so she subsequently passed out. Okay? Not this time. Andrew walks in with no drugged bottle of water. He just walks in. Okay? While Millie's in bed. Okay? And he kisses Millie. And he acts all kind and sweet, and caring and charming like he was before. He says, Millie, I really want a life with you. I really do. You just have to learn that there's consequences for your actions. Okay? And then he looks at her stomach and he counts all the bloody cuts that she made, that he told her to do, to make sure there's 21 there. He told her, if you don't do it correctly, you're going to have to do it again. Okay? He says, think about it, Millie. You'll have everything you ever wanted here. An education, financial stability, because I'm fucking rich. A beautiful home, family. Isn't that what you want? And she looks at him with blood across her forehead, blood on her face and shit, She's like, I do want those things. But not with an asshole like you. Okay? Well, she had a cake cutter in her hand that she was hiding, okay? She found it in the closet. How the hell did it get there? I don't know. We saw Nina with it earlier in the movie, but we never saw Nina sneak into the attic room and put it there. Okay? I mean, Andrew could have just as easily found it as Millie does. So it's not explained. It's a deus ex machina. It's not explained. It's just there because it's there. The script needs that cake cutter to be there. Okay? So that Millie can stab Andrew with it. That's why it's there. Okay? So she stabs Andrew in the neck. Now, you would think that would be lethal, right? He would just bleed to death. No. He doesn't bleed to death. It just heals itself up somehow. But she stabs him in the neck. Okay? And then she runs for the phone, okay? He dropped his phone because he brought his phone with him. Okay, he didn't put it in his pocket. I guess he had it in his hand. So when he stabbed her, he dropped his cell phone on the floor. Now, just so you know, like all billionaires, like Andrew's a billionaire or millionaire, multimillionaire, right? Like all multimillionaires, they don't have pins on their phone. Okay? He has no pin on his phone. That means any motherfucker can grab that phone and automatically go into his bank account, go into his Wi-Fi, go into his YouTube channel, everything, his Pornhub. They can go into anything, right? Because he has no PIN, he has no pass key, no facial recognition, no nothing. Okay? All you gotta do is turn it on and you can automatically use it. Okay? So he drops it when she gets stabbed on the floor. Okay, when he gets stabbed in the neck, she drops it. Okay? She takes his phone and she tries to run out the door because Andrew left the door open, of course. She tries to run for the door. He grabs her. They struggle for a little bit. Okay, he tries to stop her. She successfully locks him into the room, though. She manages to kick him off, grabs his phone, runs out the door, closes the door, and locks both locks before Andrew can get up and stop her. Okay? Yeah, realistic, right? Okay. So Andrew's like, open the door or I'm going to call the cops and you're going to rot in fucking prison. Open the fucking door. So he's screaming, you fucking cunt, open the goddamn door right now. And he starts hammering against the door. Now he's locked in the room. Okay, see how the tables have turned now. You see? Which is the point of the movie. They want him to suffer the way they suffered. Okay, that's written into the script. Okay? So Millie goes into his phone. Like I said, there's no PIN, no password, no nothing. All right? You know, she can see Andrew in the room. Apparently, there was a camera right above the eye hole. Okay? So she can actually see Andrew in the room banging on the door. She can see him, which means that Andrew was watching her the whole time, the whole 3 days that she was locked in there. He was watching her, seeing what she was doing. Okay? So there's that. She sees him there through the camera. Okay, Okay, and Millie walks away. She leaves him there banging on the door. Now, does she go to call the cops to tell them what this guy just put her through? No, she doesn't. She goes downstairs. She goes downstairs and makes herself a sandwich. She says, I need a sandwich. And she just nonchalantly walks down the stairs. He's banging on the door. She flicks him off. Walks downstairs, makes herself a sandwich, flicks off Andrew while she's walking down the stairs, even though he can't really see her. Okay? Flicks off Andrew. Okay, he's screaming to be let the fuck out. And she ignores him. She goes downstairs. We hear this song, Blue Bayou. Okay, they start playing that song while she goes downstairs, and she drinks a whole bunch of faucet water, even though she's in a multi-million-dollar house. She makes herself a sandwich, starts chugging the sandwich there. Not cleaning herself up, not treating her wound, not wiping the blood off of her face, or putting antiseptic on the cuts that she made on her stomach, or changing her clothes, or taking a bath, or calling the cops for what she just been through. No, she just makes a sandwich, and we listen to Blue Bayou, which came out in 1977, is sung by Linda Ronstadt. All right? She raises the fridge, she drinks faucet water. She does look at the phone because, like I said, there's no pin on the phone. So she sees there's a message there, a text message from Andrew's mom. Okay, asking him a question. The question is, did you serve that bitch wife of yours divorce papers yet? Okay, that's going on here. Okay, Millie grabs all the priceless china. It was in a bag. Okay, that she was not supposed to ever use, much less break. The whole reason she's in her situation now is because she broke a plate. Okay, that pissed off Andrew. That let the demon out. Okay, the guy that likes to torture women, that came out of him when Millie broke one of those plates. So she grabs a whole bunch of them now. Okay, and a pair of pliers, and she goes upstairs to visit Andrew. Okay, Andrew says, like, Millie, he's bleeding from his neck, but he's not like squirting out or nothing. Okay, he's just sitting there. So it's probably been a few hours. Millie, I fucked up, all right? I'm sorry. I did a really terrible thing. I have such a bad temper sometimes. I know. I know I need to better. I just want to be better. I know I can be better. I know it. Please, Millie, please help me to get better. Please. Just open the fucking door! That's basically what it is. Please, Millie, I'm thirsty. Please, I got nothing to drink in here. Millie's like, I will. But not yet. The same words that he told her when he locked her in there, okay? I want you to do something for me first, Andrew. So she slides the pliers under the door. Okay? The pliers. She says, I need you to pull out your front tooth. I think it would be good for you to be without that smile of yours. That smile that makes all the bitches in the neighborhood get all wet and just fall for your fucking toxic spell. That smile that makes every woman in the neighborhood spread her legs for you just like I did. I think it's time you were without that smile. That smile that your mother loves so fucking much. He's proud of his smile. He mentioned that was a plot point in the movie earlier. When he was checking himself out in the mirror after he had sex with her, they were looking at themselves in the mirror. He's like, look at that smile. My mom says that if if beauty was a weapon, then a smile was its sword. Like that, okay? Yeah, I know. So he tells her that. Of course, Andrew refuses. I'm not doing that. Millie's like, I thought you said you wanted my help. Now I'm offering it and you don't want it. So I guess I'll just go. You're out of your fucking mind, Millie. I'm not pulling my tooth out. Andrew, I have been locked up in that room for 3 days. And the idea of consequences has been on my mind. What if I sweeten the pot, huh? The teapot, that is. And so she pulls out one of those expensive china teapots as part of the chinaware there. And she holds it up. It's priceless, remember? And she drops it on purpose so that Andrew can hear it. He's like, oh, the china's being broken. And then she picks up these 2 little coffee cups. She goes, oh my God, look at these coffee cups. She picks up a gravy, pours. Like, oh my God, this is like a gravy bowl. I didn't think they made these anymore. Oops. And Andrew is like, Millie, stop! Stop right now! There's China, no! Leave it, Millie, stop! Just stop! Stop! You know, like that. Like he's losing his shit over this. You know? Stop right now! Stop it! Stop it! I'll give you money. I'll give you whatever you want. And she's like, oh, so now we're bargaining. That's good. That's good. We're progressing. What I want you to do, Andrew, is to pull your fucking tooth out. He's like, I'm going to kill you for this, Millie. And she's like, not if I kill you first. See, Nina didn't tell you why I was in prison. And you are too stupid to have ever asked her. Or looked it up yourself. Because men are all stupid. Millie pours, she brought a can of gasoline with her when she went upstairs with all that china. She starts pouring the gasoline on the floor and it starts seeping into his room, okay? She pours it all over the broken dishes. She goes, I was in prison for murder, Andrew. And then he hears her light a match. He's like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Okay. So he picks up the pliers off the floor. They're soaked in gasoline. He picks it up. Okay, and Millie turns on the camera on the phone so she can see what he's doing. Okay. And he puts it in his tooth, you know, and he painfully pulls it out, okay? Pulls out one of his teeth, his front teeth, okay? She tells him to slide it under the door, so he does. She inspects the tooth and tells him she'll be back in the morning, and then she walks away. Now Andrew's like, hey, Millie, let me out, you know, while she walks away from him. Okay. She got some more planned for him. But he did it. He pulled out his tooth. He pulled out his tooth. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back soon to continue my review of The Housemaid. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.